Kept you waiting, huh?
Hello, good morning, afternoon, or indeed good bloody well evening to episode 124 of the UK's number one gaming podcast. This is...
Yes.
This is Wardy, and this is the mother flipping CrossCast, and if you didn't know, we are part of the Cross Players, a team of friends dedicated to bringing you all of the uneducated opinions on the incredible games we play, the consoles we love, and the universe of news surrounding them all. I'm with Tyler, Alex, and Lewis. Hello, chaps.
Hello.
Good evening.
Evening.
Hello. Lewis.
Hi.
What? You're taking your jacket off?
It's an overshirt.
It was an overshirt. Okay.
Yeah.
So thin, corduroy. What are we going for?
It's corduroy, but it looks a lot thicker on camera. It looked like I was wearing a jacket.
What brand?
Heb124.
Okay. I had a couple of selected Hom tops, which are very similar. Very nice.
Yeah, they're Heb124 based in Hebden Bridge. Their stuff's very good. Recommend checking them out.
Buy everything local.
I try to as much as possible. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I like that. I like that about you. Figuring you out. What was for tea tonight?
What was for tea? I had chili with couscous.
Pardon,
Yeah.
what?
Mm.
Is that locally grown couscous?
It's locally sourced couscous, so it might not be grown here, but it's sourced by a very local company.
That just sounds like it's Morrison's or something.
I wouldn't go Morrison's. But
Alex, what did you have for your tea?
I didn't have anything tonight.
You haven't eaten?
No.
Eating's cheating. Are you on the bevs? What are you drinking?
No, I vomited after lunch, so I didn't want any dinner. So,
well,
yeah.
Saving it for later.
save that later. I know. Spider-Man's nearly getting you in the background there. Be careful. Tyler, what did you have for tea?
I had chicken Alfredo.
Chicken Alfredo. Okay, talk me through that. I've not had chicken Alfredo before.
His name's Dan. Just saying.
It's just pasta, chicken, creme fraiche, garlic, chicken stock, a little bit of cheese.
Hello,
Chicken
Fresh,
and
or is it
sauce.
just? Did you make it yourself?
Yeah.
Or?
Yeah, for the most part.
Nice, decent. Okay, I'm interested. It's been a while since we've seen you on. Anything? Any new update with you or?
No, it's just been very busy. I've been gaming wise trying to I built a little bit of a backlog up unintentionally, so trying to clear that down. But it's very very slow progress because the games that I bought are just this is 100 hours and this is another 30.
Oh dear, we're all in the same boat, aren't we?
Yeah,
it's not good. What are you supping, Lewis?
that is premium water.
Premium water. Okay. Is that like holy water? Teresa's blessed it.
Tap. Blessed by Scottish Water, the company.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
No fluoride in our water, Dan.
Isn't there?
Nope.
Oh,
It's
okay.
pure water. None of that additives that you get down in England.
Well, joke's on you, Lewis. I want a tiny penis. Alex, you're on the water as well, the non-fluoride water.
I am on the water.
Okay,
Indeed.
interesting. After vomiting earlier today. Yeah, Tyler, anything interesting?
No, just squash for me. In
You're
the only
fucking
water bottle I could find bigger than Alex's, I think.
Pepsi Max Cherry.
It's the way.
Yeah,
It's not Soda Stream Pepsi Max, so.
it's not. It's not because I'm not a mad Scottish Tory.
It appears that I'm in the minority when I think anything that's cherry flavoured is revolting.
Yeah, but
Well, I like a cherry flavour.
But it spends the same as well. They're always like, oh, I got cherry, Pepsi Max cherry, Dr. Pepper. And I'm just like, it's fucking rotten.
all right. So, what's your added flavour of choice to a beverage?
Brown sauce. I don't know.
Jesus Christ. Oh. Brown sauce. Okay, we say it every week, but if you like to support, why the fuck would you support it? Lewis's brown sauce addiction. Please follow these simple fetch quests. 1, give this podcast a review on the service you're using or watching us on. Number 2, give us a like and subscribe over at youtube.com/the crossplayers. I said tube wrong then. Went YouTube. Or number 3, head over to thecrossplayers.com for links to all of our content and Discord. Or if you're absolutely balmy and want to see a load of pictures of feet, sorry, Phil, number 2, you can go over to patreon.com/thecrossplayers and contribute as little as £2 to help us produce the show. And you get entry into our very, very special WhatsApp group for pictures of said feet or videos of a foot attached to a dog, which was there, or a picture of Laurie enjoying himself in Teletubbyland. Well, it's been Gamescom. I don't know if you guys noticed it. It's been,
I noticed.
It's been Big Phil's putting himself about a bit, isn't he?
He has indeed.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second because we got to. I don't even know what the name of your podcast was. It was that long ago since you recorded it. But we'll talk about Gamescom Opening Night Live 2023. Everything that's announced over on IGN.com. They've covered it. I made some separate notes about this. Do we need to see any more of Starfield?
No, absolutely not.
No, I did not feel I needed to see that live action trailer. It added
I quite
nothing.
liked it though.
Really? As a tone piece, it did fuck all. I didn't really think it was like, I don't know.
Made me feel.
Feel what?
Just feel.
Made me feel bored.
And then you threw up.
Yeah.
It made me feel...
Yeah, I've got a thing for spacesuits.
Coldplay. I mean, apart from the tone piece, like some of the actual gameplay was all right. I thought that was a little bit more interesting. But come on, Alex, talk me through it. What apart from the live action part, everything else that was shown, Big Toddy came out. Hot Toddy.
What? Just Starfield? Or do you mean the show in general?
Just Starfield. Just Starfield. Come on, you're the Xbox advocate. Like, come on.
I mean, they didn't show you very much. They showed a little bit of the trailer and said, but they're shown as part of the Gamescom. What was it? They were basically showing the first 40 minutes of the game.
Yeah, something like that.
I think it was 40 minutes that they were showing, and then he came out and. But did he show the Fallout trailer as well as a wee treat? Not at the Opening Night Live. That was at the Xbox booth itself.
Is that a TV show?
Yeah.
Was it a full-on trailer?
Yeah, I think so. So I don't think it's actually been released yet. I think Amazon have put something up to represent it. So I don't think it's been made available to the public yet.
Okay.
But yeah, Todd came out, and I like a wee bit of Todd. And then Jeff Keighley was all over him. You're like, oh, it's like one of the greatest minds in our industry ever. That's just so. And you're like, right, okay. Well, we all know everyone's relying on Starfield, but come on. But I mean, decent open to the show. A nice little piano piece and all that jazz. So it's all right.
It is crazy. It's the first new Bethesda universe in 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
Like that as a sentence just does not fucking make sense to me.
Like,
that's balmy.
Feels weird.
Yeah. So what was the last one then?
I'm assuming it wouldn't have been Fallout because that feels older, and it wasn't Bethesda's universe, was it, to begin with?
Yeah. Was it Obsidian or something before?
Guessing so, yeah.
Yeah.
Obsidian.
Is Elder Scrolls only 25 years old?
I don't know. I would have said it was younger than that.
Oblivion was Xbox
Was
360. More than mine was the original Xbox.
Yeah.
So I mean,
2 entries before that would have to have been PC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
25 years ago, remember, 1998, not the 80s. I know people think
Yeah, so
25
the
years
first
ago,
time
that's like the 80s, or the 70s, that's so long ago, but it's the nearly 2000, year 2000.
Lewis being the bastion for all things middle-aged in the chat
Exactly.
this evening. Thank you, Lewis.
My corduroy jacket.
Corduroy jacket, locally sourced.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Starfield, that was mentioned. I think Call of Duty, do we want to talk about that? Probably not. Shows off the first level. Alan Wake 2 looks shit. Let's move on from that. Diablo 4. Alan Wake 2, that looked really fucking cool. I wasn't sold on this game, and then that live action flip. What's it called? The Dark Place, is it? It's the Dark Place.
Garth Marenghi, that's all I get in my head when you say that.
Yeah, flips that back, but it is nailing. I don't know, like I know Alan Wake kind of started it all, for Remedy, but the way that it's nailing almost like a follow-on from Control.
Yeah, I was going to say the same. Like
Felt
some
more
of the
like
imagery in
Felt
there,
like that.
like was it towers of paper that just decide to go?
Yeah,
I was like, it
fold
looks
in
so
on
much
themselves.
like Control. It looks so cool, and I love Sam Lake.
Yeah.
He just seems like such a great guy. I'd love
Yeah.
to go to the pub or a nice fancy bistro cafe to have a drink with him, just to pick his brains. Get him to do his Max Payne face.
What would you do if you like took him to a pub locally and he was like, "Oh, great, going for a pint," and you get, I don't know, local beer, nice little pint of it, and he gets like a, I don't know, like a Beavertown neck oil or something, or just a pint of Carlsberg, and you're like, "What the fuck?" Right, it just completely ruins your estimations of him. What would you do, Lewis?
I would start. I'd be in awe. I can't believe he's drinking Carlsberg Export.
Dreadful, absolutely dreadful.
But no, the game looks really cool. I'm looking forward to playing it. I mean, it got pushed out a couple of weeks, but that's probably to make way for Spider-Man. Is that what it's clashing with?
Yeah, they said that for that reason, didn't they? There's plenty of games. It's quite chocker, so they just said, let's move out of the way.
Yeah.
Which,
It made
good
sense.
idea.
It was
Yeah,
the right
it's
thing
fine.
to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Tyler, what's your affinity with Remedy? Did you play Control? I remember you
I
talking
played
about
Control, I think on the back of when we had it in Game Club, and I loved it. Like, I wasn't expecting... I don't know how to say I wasn't expecting it. I'd seen it get Game of the Year 2019, was like, yeah, I want to give this a look, but I wasn't sure when. Played it when it was in Game Club, and just, like, not quite as bad as Lewis, but was like, almost obsessed with it for a little while afterwards.
Yeah.
Like, very, very excited by, like you're saying, Lewis, the way that it looks like it's very much leaning into Control a little bit more than I sort of would have expected it to. Like, I'm very, very interested to get my hands on that.
I am. It's bordering on being a bit too scary for me. It's kind of like, but Control was a bit like that because it didn't. I know there was a lot of like videos and stuff of it running up and quite a bit of gameplay running up to it, but I never got like the eerie side of Control. It always just felt like sci-fi, menacing, but not horror. Whereas this is
Straight up
descending
horror.
into like straight up horror. Like even just the flashes of like scary faces and Alan Wake himself, like mouth open, looking horrific. Yeah, it's starting to creep me out a little bit. So I don't want to watch too much more. I'm quite happy to play it when it comes out, and then just if I get scared, I get scared, kind of thing. So, but yeah, exciting. What a year we're having! What a year. Diablo 4 Season 2 is called Season of Blood. I'm not even interested in Diablo 4. I kind of dropped off that quite quickly.
Same.
I will go back to it. I'm not really interested. Mortal Kombat 1 reveals 2 new fighters at Gamescom. Again,
Who were the two new... I was watching it.
it was General Shao and Sindel.
Sindel, okay. I've seen Sindel because I was watching it with the volume off, so I didn't know what was happening. But I could see, I was like, oh, that looks like Sindel. But I didn't catch anybody else.
I was day one when Homelander was announced for that game. I was like, incredible.
Yeah, they've definitely, like, the last few years, the way that Mortal Kombat have gone about adding, like, pop culture characters is, like, second only to Smash, which is admittedly a little bit more of a closed thing. But, like, the characters they choose to add and the way they implement them is fantastic.
It is brilliant, and just the announcements for them as well. Like, it's always a really clever tone piece for exactly what the character's going to be like, and also gives a lot of kudos to the character in its natural habitat. Like Homelander just descending from behind all the characters with red eyes. Yeah, I was like, oh, chills.
Homeland, is that Sean Bean?
Homelander, no.
What am I thinking of?
The boys.
Highlander?
No, Highlander. Can be only one.
We need no talk about that. It can only be
determined
one.
to find out what I'm thinking of. Let's continue. I'm going to Google in the background what I'm thinking of.
It was Sean Connery, Highlander, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Tekken 8 release date revealed. So we're getting that on January 26th. I'm looking forward to Tekken 8.
I've played Tekken 2, but I've never played much Tekken since then. In fact, since I upgraded to the PS Plus Premium package, say that 10 times fast, I jumped into Tekken 2, and I found it next to impossible to play. It's also brutally slow.
Yeah.
But that's just what happens, I guess, over the course of time. The Sean Bean thing I'm thinking of is Sharp's company. where he, he
Just a
plays a
random-
British soldier during the Napoleonic Wars.
Interesting. Assassin's Creed Mirage's latest trailer focused on 9th century Baghdad as a sentence and a half, and that's on October 5th, 2023. I think we kind of spoke about this, didn't we, when we were looking forward to the games coming out, and Alex, you're still quite interested in playing this?
Yeah, I mean, I'm now at that stage. I'm like, am I going to play it when it releases?
Mm.
Probably not. I think there's just going to be too much, and this is one that will wait, and I will play it, and I will enjoy it, but I can't see me. And I know this is another one like Alan Wake. This has been pulled forward, and Alan Wake get pulled back, but still feel like between everything else that's coming, and it's just before Forza, so Forza will take my attention. Yeah, to be fair.
Yeah, we know that. We know. And plus, it'll be 20 quid in 2 weeks after it's released anyway.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
It is. Well, it's a budget game to begin with, because I think it's only 45.
Budget game, and when's Black Friday? It's November, isn't it?
It's like the last week of November generally.
So it's coming out in October. Yeah.
If not by November, like by Christmas. I remember having this
100%.
with Immortals when that came out. It was like, wait, and then a week before Christmas, got it for like 15 quid.
Yeah. I mean, October 5th, it's prime for a pre-Christmas discount. And
I was just going to say, you also have the option now of like subscribing to a month of Ubisoft Plus.
Yeah, I'm just doing that instead. And there'll be 2 or 3 months free at some point with that in the coming months, presumably.
Yeah.
CD Projekt Red at the moment are just deciding not to do anything the easy way. So Cyberpunk 2077 2.0 is coming on to the base game alongside Phantom Liberty. New gameplay trailer revealed. I'm really happy I've held off on playing this. Curious to know what Laurie's going to say of this as well, because it's his favourite game of all time.
Madness.
And absolutely crazy. And to think there's a 2.0 of the game coming out, not like a iterative kind of all right, we've done a couple of bug fixes like they've been doing for 3-4 years anyway. This has got new district, it's got dozens of new story quests and gigs, vehicle combat and mounted weaponry, revamped police system, combat AI overhaul, endless dynamic events and missions, redesigned cyberware and perks, all new relic skill tree and abilities, increased level cap, and 100 plus new items, weapons, cyberware, and fashion. I love the idea of Laurie like going around like blooming Jeff, what's his name in Tron, trying to figure out like new fashion styles because he loves to skate. It's his favourite game of all time, allegedly.
Laurie was keen on a dildo build, I think that's what he was saying initially.
Yeah.
He was just flipping between it so that the penis just kept flopping back and forward, which admittedly I did for a while as well. Who didn't? I think...
I just thought...
Go on.
Sorry.
Go on.
No, you go.
No, I insist.
No, because I did play Cyberpunk briefly. I played it for around 8 hours, 9 hours, so... I got to the title screen. That was always a joke because it took ages to get there. But I dropped off it for some reason. Not that I didn't like it. I just dropped off it. This makes me want to go back and restart the whole thing because it's been a year and a half since I stopped playing.
Same. Yeah.
So yeah, it's enough to get me interested to pick it up again.
Yeah. I mean, what a turnaround that's been for that game as well. Like the fact it's... everyone's excited about a 2.0 release of it, new DLC. It's just, good on CD Projekt Red for turning around, I guess. Okay, Sonic Superstars finally has a release date. Anybody excited by this?
No.
Not really.
What's that release date all about? Why? Why would you release it 3 days before Mario Wonder? Why?
Sega are just desperate to lose money, aren't they? They need to get sold, so they're basically just tanking all the games so that, they fucking do something.
But they've only just spent, however many billion to buy Rovio, so...
Yeah, true.
I wonder if it's not up to scratch.
And they're just going, right, kick it out, die. Yeah. Very good point.
Considering the last few Sonic games haven't been great. What was the one that was giving folk epileptic fits? Sonic Colors or something?
Colours. The Colours.
It was
the remade version of Colors.
Yeah.
I would argue that there's never been a great Sonic game. So I'm still... this is like... I don't know, like some sort of confectionery that you don't like, and then just seeing different versions of it on a shelf. Like, I love Oreos, but if I saw like a double stuff and it's like, all right, and then next week strawberry cream filled it, it's like, what are you doing to me? This isn't for me. So it's good for the people that want to play it, but again, and then Sonic Frontiers, the Final Horizon update coming later this year as well.
I was more interested in that because I like
interesting.
Sonic Frontiers, and you get more story content and stuff. So like, it might. No,
It's free
I
as
was
well.
going to say I might jump back into it, but I might because Lewis liked it. So he likes to watch it, and always, my son Lewis liked it. So he likes to watch it. So it's maybe a good excuse to sit and play it again.
Much like with every single Sonic game, and I like air quotes Sonic games. I liked Sonic 2, Sonic Mania was good, but they all fall into the same trap. Is that when you get stuck or you bounce on something and you stop running, that's when Sonic games become really bad.
Yeah. Quantic Dream announces Dustborn at Gamescom opening night live.
Can't even remember it.
No, it's the
This was the really odd-looking one, wasn't it?
very
Towards the end, I
wokey.
was like,
yeah.
I was like, I can't suss out what this is going to be like to play. It's all a bit odd.
So it's set in a futuristic alternative version of America. The game is described as being about hope, love, friendships, robots, and the power of words.
Wow.
And players will be building relationships with their crew as they travel across the country.
Oh, I think I kind of remember it now. Is this the one that reminded me of like Road 96 or something? Is it a bit like that? Yeah.
They've all got like a zero haircut on the sides.
Yeah.
And I'm just assuming that the rest of the game, one's holding a mobile phone, one looks like they've got plaster on their hands, driving on the actual wheel.
Plastic of Paris.
Move on.
Move on. The highlight for me, Thank Goodness You Are Here, is a new game by studio behind Untitled Goose Game Panic.
Is that the one with the funny song?
That was bang up my street. Knowing all the things we've done in the past with like Steve and all the adverts and shit, that is exactly my humour in terms of like the writing of it and just the pies at the start, and just it felt very. It was like warped version of like Nickelodeon Ren and Stimpy tunes, and then on top of that, like old fashioned RPGs. Which this is kind of not the art style and the humour side, but this is kind of what I wanted. Oh fuck, what was the name of the game that I liked that you guys didn't all like? And I played a little bit. It's going to come to me in a minute. My brain's mush. It's been up all day.
It's like this.
No, it's an RPG about the bloke and the girl he finds. And it's an ode to Nintendo. Old Nintendo.
Eastwood, no?
Eastwood, yes, thank you.
Yeah, okay.
So, like, Eastwood, when you play it, it's interesting for a little bit, and some of the dialogue's interesting, but it's a bit vacant. And this seems like it's just a really rich, vibrant world, loads of weird-looking characters shoved into, like, a closed space, and you're, like, walking around it, and then you're doing certain thing. It just seems brilliant, and I don't know what you guys thought.
I was confused by this game.
Yeah, confusion is the right word.
Yeah, but I think I was, again, still watching on my phone. I think at this point, between the last trailer and this one coming on, I'd got up to tell one of my kids to lie down and go to sleep. And then I looked back at my phone and I went, what the fuck has happened? Have I touched something? Have I accidentally switched it off?
Is this like a mid-roll ad?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, what's happening here? But yeah, it just looks mad. It was great.
I think it'll be interesting. And, I mean, Panic Inc., if they'd gone and done Untitled Goose Game, then they're doing this. I think
different does it look?
Exactly. I think
so different.
Just to go and do something completely different is absolutely brilliant. But then also Untitled Goose Game, for its flaws, it still was interesting what they tried to do with that. So again, I'm excited to see it. It says on there that in the trailer we catch glimpses of someone's pants falling down while they are looking at a sign that says normal milk, someone bouncing off someone else's butt, and much more. Yeah, I'm completely into it. So, we didn't see a release date for it, I don't think. But
I don't think so.
Yeah. Okay. So, Little Nightmares 3 is announced with the trailer about the spooky co-op adventure that showcased co-op gameplay between two characters traversing a world we wouldn't want to visit outside of a video game. There was also one more surprise as the team announced there will be a new podcast series called Sounds of Nightmares, which is available later today and tells a whole new story in the game's universe.
Ooh,
Resident
I missed
Little
that.
Resident Little Nightmares fan, Lewis.
Hi.
Excited, mate?
I'm cautiously optimistic because it's a different developer.
Oh, is it? I didn't notice.
Yeah, Tarzia developed 1 and 2. They, I think last year or maybe a little while after 2 came out, they parted ways, or they fell out with Bandai Namco, who own the IP, and they're like, "Oh, we'll do something else."
Okay.
And I think they'd mentioned that the third one was coming, but Supermassive.
Supermassive
Games?
it is, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I've got much experience with their stuff, to be honest.
Supermassive, aren't
Yeah.
they? Come on, give me that one.
I mean, it's mainly horror, so they do specialize in horror from that perspective.
I know, and it's it's this. What is it? A co-op adventure. That's kind of what 2 was like. So interesting to see what it'd be like. Quite quick after 2 came out, I think. I think it's only a couple of years. Makes me wonder.
Yeah, it doesn't feel that long.
I was going to say, was 2 not early 2022? So it's not even 2 years.
It was not 20, maybe 21. I'm not sure. But
Did
it
they
feels
say
like
when it was coming out though? I mean, they only announced it. I don't think they gave a release window or anything.
Anyone with a low profile keyboard, not a mechanical keyboard, search for that. I can't.
February 10th, 2021.
Oh,
So yeah, you're right, Lewis.
you're right, Lewis. Lewis, that was
There you go.
Supermassive. Not stop doing that tonight. What a tune. Moose Tea, I'm horny. 98.
Do you know what?
Go on.
What I noticed from last week's podcast and what's going to happen with this one? The music is all blurred out, cut out, so no one else could hear it.
No, is it?
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Because we were doing the music last week, and we're all just going, "Oh yeah."
We were
Silence.
just like talking shit.
Oh, sorry, listeners. Okay, that is Moose Tea. I'm horny. I'll start singing it now.
Yeah.
I'm horny, 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 horny. Black Myth Wukong trailer is a very welcome new look at action-packed gameplay. I'm really, really bored of action RPGs. Really bored of them. I'm quite happy with Spider-Man coming out because I think Spider-Man, that'll be exciting. It'll be a good game. Even then, I'm not that excited by it compared to, I don't know, any other game that I played this year. Anybody interested in this or remember it at all from the show?
No, I
Nope.
think I maybe went and got a drink when this came on because it just was. I genuinely wasn't bothered. I know a lot of people were looking forward to seeing more of this, but it's just not my kind of game now. Like,
Yeah. Okay.
You're an ARPG fan, you not, Tyler?
On and off, it's like I feel like it's got to be really specific for me to like click with it. So there's a couple that I made a note of that were quite similar. I was like, yeah, no, I could see myself enjoying that, but for whatever reason, this wasn't one of them. And I think it reminded me of what was the one that came out recently? There's like a similar thing. It's like set in a sort of, it was either a Chinese or Japanese, that same sort of time period.
Wulong.
That's it.
Wulong.
Wolong, Fallen Dynasty. And I was like, I want to play it, but at the same time, it's not going to be Elden Ring. It's not going to feel as good as Elden Ring did, and it's harder. So I'm not going to put myself through trying to learn a game, repeatedly getting beaten down by it for something that I'm ultimately not going to get the same enjoyment out of. And I think with the few exceptions, that's kind of the problem I'm going to have with these kinds of games, in the same way that Ghost of Tsushima did it with the Ubisoft collectathon type thing. I don't feel, nothing will feel quite the same after playing Tsushima for me.
Marvel Snap is now available on Steam. I was just trying to log in, hence why I went quiet for a second. You can get a dinosaur, so I need to get the dinosaur.
Ooh.
Yeah, I logged in and got mine yesterday.
Ah, you bastard.
Did you see the big Marvel Snap booth and everything at Gamescom? There's like a huge Marvel Snap booth with a big dinosaur and everything.
That's
I always want to. I've not watched many like Twitch streamers doing it, but I'm curious to know like where I rank on them. Do you know what I mean? In terms of like collector's level, where I rank on them.
You don't want to go down that road, because that's one of the other things that came out of the Marvel Snap announcements. It was like, if you watch, I think it's 2, 4, and then 6 hours of someone streaming Marvel Snap, you get additional rewards. And I kind of was like, I'm in the habit of where I was staying up at night with my daughter when I was playing it really addictively a few months ago. I'd watch streamers, and you're like, what goes through these people's heads? And then you hear them talk. Like, just the level of complexity that they're at already within with that game. And then you hear them talking about stuff like Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic and Gwent and Hearthstone. Like, they're all at like a GM level in at least 2 of those games.
Yeah.
It's crazy, like they are just wired a certain way for them.
Lewis.
GM level?
Grandmaster, so where you play rank level, you go bronze, silver, gold, diamond, platinum, diamond, and I think GM's above that. GM's generally like the top or the second tier.
Okay.
I won a Grandmaster level solitaire the other day. Does that count?
Did you?
To start?
Yeah.
No, you didn't.
I did. I've got the achievement. I can show you.
Oh, right, go on. Somebody contact Alex's work. I found the game.
Marvel Snap thing. I had 3 things that jumped to me. It's Marvel Snap, right? The second thing was that guy.
Oh god, yes.
So annoying.
He's insufferable.
Do you not see him on like LinkedIn? See him on Instagram or anything? Because he always does the adverts. He's so enthusiastic. He's like what everyone thinks Greg Miller is. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that's like the worst of everything. You just want to punch him in the face. So.
Yeah, I like Greg Miller now. I don't know why. I've totally changed on him, but yeah.
Because you actually watched him. It's like most things when people think they've got an opinion on someone. But you know what I mean?
Lastly on that, the trailer was awesome.
It was.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. They nail it. In terms of the aesthetic and like the tone pieces for the games, like all the way through, they've done it. Even when they did, I can't remember the season, but they had like a song. I don't know if you remember it, Tyler. It was like second season, I think. And there was like a competition where you had to like get so many things. It was like a Love Heart song or something. But point being is that all the way through it, I don't think they've ever missed a beat. And even then, some of the variants you now get for the cards that complement the different bits of content that are out, like the mech kind of one this season is just great, and you can get that Devil's Dinosaur, which Tyler's got and I haven't because I can't remember my password on Apple. The things like that are just fantastic. So I barely spend any money on this as well. So I spend maybe like a tenner every couple of months if there's a specific card that'll complement the style of play that I've got. But yeah, anyway, Lewis.
Is there an offline mode? Can you play against AI?
No,
not that. Can you?
You can't, no. Well, not yet, anyway. The one thing I would say, you can play with no real jeopardy if you play Conquest. So on Conquest, it's like there's 3 different, maybe 4 levels. You've got Proven Grounds, Silver, Gold, and then what's the last one? Infinite.
Platinum or Diamond, or
Infinite, I think. So you've got those kind of things, but in Proving Grounds, like if you lose, you don't lose anything. You just don't win anything, basically. So if you ever want to go in and just play without any sort of risk, that's the best one to do. So I probably, as my hot tip on Marvel Snap for the evening.
I'm downloading that again. I'm going to give it another chance.
If you've got like the awkward missions that don't suit your playstyle, that's the way to get them done.
Yes, definitely. And you tend to accrue quite a lot of the daily rewards and stuff through that a lot quicker, I find, than playing the actual main game, because you snap a lot more, I think, in Proving Grounds, and it's just easier.
Yeah,
big up next week when the Infinite barrier opens and I'm able to use the 5 tokens that I've built up on that, or 5 tickets. Medieval Fighter Warhaven has a release date. Anyone?
No.
Can't remember it.
I didn't get like what that was supposed to play like. I thought the trailer was interesting. Having hip hop over something that was like a full on medieval combat scene was like, I've not seen that done before, but it actually came off quite well. But I have no idea to sit and play that game what you'd be playing.
Speaking of came off, it is Pete's wet dream, this type of game. 16v16 multiplayer battles and encounters were like a chaotic, jumbled pile of swords, shields, and cannonballs that's almost always pure mayhem. That sounds exactly up Pete's street, so I think...
Does that not just sound like Chivalry 2?
Basically, I think is Pete's wet dream, so if he gets that, then he will be made up. Grand Blue Fantasy, which I always thought that's a Grandad Fantasy when I first saw it the other day, and I was like, oh, Grand Blue, sorry, yes, of course, that classic franchise. Grand Blue Fantasy Relink gets February release date. This looked alright.
Yeah.
This looks okay.
I like this. This seems to be like a thing at the moment, the sort of anime-esque ARPG MMO sort of vibe, and I'm cautious, but also want to try all of them because in theory, for the 5 or 6 I've seen, at least one of them's got to be pretty good.
Yeah,
And like not that I played any of the games, but there's enough of a legacy there that they've got enough to draw from to hopefully do a good job.
yeah, I hope so. Just for those obviously watching or listening to the podcast, if you can go over to patreon.com, there is a fund at the moment for Max to buy a full-size body pillow, much like Lars and the Real Girl, starring Ryan Gosling. Max needs a full-size body pillow of an anime lady. He doesn't really. Nightingale trailer reveals further early access release date delay. While we received a new trailer for the Victorian gas lamp fantasy-themed shared world survival crafting game Nightingale, it was confirmed its early access date has been pushed back a bit from autumn to February. Nightingale cast players as a realm walker who travel through portals in a procedurally generated universe, and the universe is filled with survival crafting gameplay, quests, and an evolving narrative and more.
It looks cool.
Yeah,
it did look
it's
cool.
kind of cool. But someone's just taken Mary Poppins and gone a little bit Elden Ring with it.
Yeah, I'm happy you said that. Okay, so that is Nightingale. Expeditions, a mud runner. Alex, this actually looked quite good, I thought. It's a driving sim game where you off-road.
No, I didn't like the look of this. It
You
looked
didn't like the look
boring.
of this?
No.
Okay. You don't like the Ice Truckers game and all those kind of things?
That's nah.
That beneath you?
It's not beneath me at all. It's just probably just a little bit too involved for what I want to do when I'm driving.
Just try it a bit. You get to change gears. You get to have challenging moments. You probably put sticks down to get yourself up a sharp incline. Come on, give it a go.
Okay.
I was surprised with this that, like, with all the other racing games that I'd like to, Forzas and The Crew, there's been a couple of others. This looks surprisingly poor graphically.
Yeah.
Like, I was expecting for a game that's got a fair bit of pedigree, like, the mechanics are kind of already there. You'd think they'd put a little bit more focus on making it look really, really good, and it sort of looked a little bit early PS4 to me.
Really, really, really good looking. It's all the it's all those mud physics that they've got in it. Obviously, it's dragging the rest of the game down. But yeah, I thought it looked shit, and I don't get half of the interest with these kind of games where you're driving like a long distance. I remember doing like Microsoft Flight Simulator 98 and doing a long distance flight overnight, and then literally I think I must have been maybe 10 or 11 being like, what the fuck am I doing with my life? And as an 11-year-old thinking that, and I'll look at these games and go, been there, not doing that again. That was stupid.
See games like this, I like the thought of getting into it. I'm going to get this truck up that hill. But then when you get into it, you're like, I can't be bothered.
Yeah, totally. The only thing I remember is, those Tuck biscuits where they got like, they're basically like what do you call them? Thingy cream. Yeah, but with cheese.
Yeah.
Like cheese.
Yeah.
I remember making like basically the entire packet one of just all the cheese between two of the biscuits. That's how much of a fat prick I was when I was 10. And that being like the highlight of my, I don't even know, it was like from fucking Hawaii to Antarctica or something. It was stupid. In a Boeing. Anyway, moving forward, Stormgate's latest developer update sheds light on the infernal host, Stormgate. Stormgate is an upcoming free-to-play game from former Activision Blizzard developers, and we basically got a free look at the behind-the-scenes video that centers on the infernal host, a demonic alien race that will join the human vanguard as a playable faction. I mean, didn't interest me at all.
No.
Crimson Desert shows off tons of new mechanics. This looked okay. It's been quite a bit of time since we've seen or heard from Pearl Abyss's Crimson Desert, but the wait's now over. Gamescom opening night live, lengthy gameplay trailer was revealed that gives a good idea of what players can expect from the game, including sword combat, toppling structures, bow and arrow fighting on horseback, fishing, hijacking carriages, petting dogs, and much, much more. Thought it looked alright. It just was a bit more lush. Yeah.
There's a lot promised to it if it can deliver on a lot of those mechanics.
I agree. Bulletstorm VR, Alex?
Looking
Yeah.
forward to this. Yeah,
I
nice
just-
classic shooter. Looks pretty good. Nice to get a date. December date as well. Is it 14th of December they've announced
14th,
for
well
this?
remembered. Well
Which
remembered.
is a nice little it's not a nice Christmas game. Not a nice Christmas game at all in terms of what it is, but it's probably good to be out the road of everything else. Because even when you look at the VR release dates, like for the rest of the year, see around, there's like 3 games coming out, like October 19th, October 20th, and October 21st, and you're like, why amongst everything else that's coming out there? So it's kind of nice to keep that one a bit later. But yeah, looking forward to it. I think it is just that classic Bulletstorm game in VR, so hopefully it should be fun. Hopefully it is.
Fingers crossed. Age of Empires 4 Anniversary Edition is available now on Xbox. So it's finally available on Xbox X. It's on the Potato, Xbox One, bloody hell, and Xbox Game Pass today in the form of the Anniversary Edition, and it features native inputs for those using controllers and a new tutorial to help console players learn the ropes and more. Interested? Did you
It's a
ever?
nice little drop.
Yeah, I mean, I like Age of Empires. Yeah, I like those games. Command and Conquer, Red Alert, all those kind of felt like they all came out at the same time, but probably didn't.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at this one. So Killing Floor 3 announced. I've never played any Killing Floor games, so I don't know. Anybody played them before or had any
No.
interest
Heard
in
of
it?
it?
No.
The brutal and gory Killing Floor 3 was announced at Gamescom opening night with just as brutal and gory trailer that showcased some of the horrifying enemies players will undoubtedly be facing hordes and hordes of when it releases on PS5, Xbox X and S, and PC. So it's announced, it's not got a release date. Something that does is Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon. So we've got the official launch trailer to that. Again, don't need to see more of that game. I'm quite interested in it. Although I'm not a mecha kind of fan, but obviously FromSoft, decent pedigree, made a couple of good games. So anyone picking that up day one or no? Wait for it.
Yeah, definitely.
A lot of big games coming out just now.
Yeah, it's been that way all year. Like
Industry Insider Lewis there giving us the
There's
update.
not
That's coming. Some big games coming out right now. You heard it here
There
first.
maybe some games might get pushed.
Yep, they might do. Yeah, industry expert Lewis making a bold prediction that some games might get pushed. Vague, yes. Accurate, most probably.
Yes, of course.
The last Epoch official Room Master first look trailer. The Crew Motorfest. Alex?
I probably will play this at some point. I liked what I played in although it was very, very Forza Horizon, I enjoyed what I played in the beta. So I probably will pick this up at some point, but again, probably not at launch. But there's a 4-hour trial they're giving on launch weekend.
All right, okay.
I think they announced. So
that's cool. I mean, it looked pretty. But again, I appreciate it's a trailer. Most trailers can look pretty. Something else that looked pretty, Fort Solace official launch trailer. I thought this looked cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're definitely going for the star power approach to marketing this as well, bringing like Troy Baker and stuff on like to the show floor for this.
Yeah.
Oh, was that for this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's nice.
The reviews have been very mixed. It's been some
Have they?
people have given it like 2s out of 10, and some people have given it 8.5, 9 out of 10. Like it's been a funny one.
Strange, isn't it?
I think a lot of it, from what I remember reading, was to do with like optimization issues and like the ultra wide support on PC wasn't great, stuff like that, rather than the actual game not being good.
Yeah, which is weird because it's not even out. Well, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think it's out in PC yet. I think it's only out in PS5. I think PC comes a bit later. So it's
Might have
weird
the
that the
copies,
reviews have focused on the PC stuff when it has only been released in the PS5. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they always
and it's only
$24.99.
$24.99.
Yeah, it's cheap. I think they favour the PC because they can get captures from it, can't they? So I think that's why they tend to play them more so. But again, PC game's going to bug. Lords of the Fallen official extended story trailer was shown. I think it still looks cool.
Yeah, I still like this. It's like it's a more traditional dark fantasy Elden Ring type thing, and as long as it's not too punishing, I'll probably give this a go at some point.
I can see that being the case. Genshin Impact concert reveal trailer. Never played Genshin Impact, so I can't really comment too much on it. Don't have much of an appeal to it, although people do enjoy it. Honkai Star Rail. Ironically, the name of the pillow that Max wants. If you go to patreon.com/crossplayers, he wants to buy a Honkai Star Rail body pillow. to keep him warm at night with autumn approaching fast. Zenless Zone Zero trailer was shown.
It's another Hoyoverse game, but I do want to try it. Like, I really want to try it. I liked Genshin Impact for about 10 hours, and then the gameplay loop just... It's one of those games where you have to enjoy it, you have to play it every day, and you kind of have to put a bit of money in, and I just didn't want to commit to that. But the aesthetic, but like the setting, I think being in a city for this Zenless Zone Zero thing looks cool. It'll be free to play, so there's no harm in trying it. It's just what the gameplay loop looks like will determine whether I like it and whether I stick to it.
Was Genshin Impact the game that people were saying looked a lot like Breath of the Wild?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Very pretty game.
Yeah, it really is.
Really pretty game, and interesting loop. And I think even 10 hours on a free-to-play game, it's not bad, is it? It's 10 hours.
You've not done bad out of that.
Yeah, exactly. Payday 3, the official Ice-T trailer was shown.
That was a bit random.
It was a bit random. I do like Payday games. I think I played one before, and I think I maybe played it for like 5-6 hours and enjoyed it. Just at a mate's. So
and it is on Game Pass. So
yeah, exactly. No brainer to try it. And I realised before my Game Pass, now that I've added my BT 12 months free Ultimate to it, is going to run out in 2026. So please, Microsoft, release some games, because
they're coming.
Fuck me. Yeah, gee, I could be playing that thing for forever. Delta Force was shown. We haven't had a game like this, I think, since Rainbow Six Siege came out, so it looks quite interesting to play.
It looked alright, this one.
Yeah, it did. Homeworld 3 story reveal trailer shown.
Don't remember it.
Yeah. Mandragora? Are we saying that? Mandragora? That looked cool. Side-scrolling.
I can't think of any of these games.
Yeah,
I
feel like that one I thought was blasphemous at one point. I'm like, is this because I didn't know what it was? I don't think I was paying attention.
And the last two I definitely didn't. Warhammer Age of Sigmar, Realms of Ruin. I do like a Warhammer game, so I might give that a go once it comes out. And then Ara History Untold, the official story trailer, was released as well.
And that dropped on the Game Pass that day as well, I think.
Yeah.
So have you played Warhammer? Do you Warhammer?
The actual game, the tabletop game? Yes, I have. Yeah. I used to have Space Marines was my thing, so I played 40k a bit. And I bought a lot of White Dwarf magazines, and I was into it when I was younger, but then fell out of it quite quickly. Gratefully as well that I did. But I did like the models, like the painting of them and the factions and the lore behind it all. I was really into Tolkien at that point, and I found that and Warhammer complemented each other brilliantly because it was just rich content. And people that tend to play it, they get a bad rap because it's just like, oh, the load of neckbeards and mouth breathers. But it's a really lovely community because it's all in person. It's rarely online. The Reddit's a little bit hot and feisty at times, but apart from that, when you go into a store, everyone's so welcoming and kind, and like they're always really willing to help. If you're not creative in the way that you want to paint things, there's always someone there to be on hand and try and help you. And yeah, it was quite a nice little nerdy community, which I had a lot of time for. So they get a bad rap, but
Henry Cavill's big into that.
He is. Yeah,
Tyler, you could pop down his house and get him on the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I DM'd him a while ago. Never replied.
That's his next film project, isn't it? When everything happened with like The Witcher and him losing Superman, they're like, right, here's the keys to Warhammer, which is providing no one ruins it, he's going to do a very good job of, I'm sure, because he's absolutely mad about it.
He's mad about it, but then I'm also like, presumably he would have been mad to some extent over Superman, and mad at some point over Geralt. So,
but that was, I think, I don't know. To me, the reason that The Witcher's gone downhill is what is ultimately the reason he's not doing it anymore, was because he was a real stickler for, the games do it this way, the books do it this way. This is the way I want to do it. And the showrunners have outright turned around and said, well, we don't like the source material. We're going to do our own thing.
Yeah.
At which point he was like, well, I'm out then. Fuck it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I haven't enjoyed the latest season. I've watched one episode of it so far, and I've been completely pushed back by it. And last season, the first season I finished it and I felt something after it, like, I really enjoyed that. I felt a little bit Gutted that it ended. I wish there was a little bit more of it. And then season 2 felt nothing about it, which is a bit disappointing. I kind of like season 2 and presumably what 3 is going to be like to some of the more recent Star Treks, where it's just like vacant fan kind of fluffing rather than a genuinely interesting story or replicating the storyline that people recognize. So disappointing. Okay, well, that's the opening night live. Let's go to day 1, which was today. Was it? No, yesterday. Big Phil has been putting himself about, hasn't he? And it looks as if he's got Baldur's Gate. I saw a tweet before Alex shared, I think, in the old Discord.
Yeah, so they've now agreed a path, and Baldur's Gate will now come to Xbox this year, and it won't have split screen co-op on the Series S, but it will release on X and S.
Lewis,
what's the big deal with this splits?
For whatever reason, they basically said it's not going to come out on Xbox at the same time as PlayStation because they can't get split screen co-op to run on the Series S. They can't optimize it well enough, but they can on the X.
So I'd seen it, and again, I'm going off internet rumors. I'm not going off anything factual, but I saw that Xbox were being quite obstructive, saying if you can't get it to work on both, you're not releasing it. And then it's become a commercial success, and
they're clamoring
they've had
a bit.
Maybe Phil's gone and had a private word at Gamescom, which probably been booked in for weeks, but looks as if it's off the cuff. And then said, look, we'll renege on that, and clearly we've made a mistake. Here's a couple of million quid. Whatever.
But I don't think it's necessarily that's just been the case with Baldur's Gate. I think that has been that if you are releasing a game on the Series X, the Series S, they must have full feature parity. So it's not like it's just been on this game. It's just there was no bending, there was no wiggle room in the rules, and now there seems to be a wee bit of wiggle room in the rules, which I think there's going to have to be. Even no matter if you stick behind the Series S or not, I think there's going to come a point in this generation where you're just, if you want the Series X to get its full potential, you're going to need to sacrifice a wee bit on the S. I think that's just where we're going to get to.
Sounds really bad, but I'm really doubtful that people playing games on an S like Baldur's Gate are expecting the full experience anyway.
Yeah.
Like I play it on the Steam Deck, and I'm not expecting the same experience that I'm getting on the PC. So I don't think it's naive. I think people would just be downright daft to assume that it's going to be anything the same. And like you just said there, mate, I think if we get every game on the S, but there's compromise on features, people should be still, damn grateful that they've got 150 quid console there pretty much in the sale. That's playing these things because it's fantastic.
Yeah.
But apart from that, Phil Spencer insists games launch across Xbox Series X and S despite Baldur's Gate 3 no-show. So the article continuing on IGN by Wesley Yimport. Xbox boss Phil has admitted the fact Steam mega hit Baldur's Gate 3 launched on PlayStation 5 ahead of Xbox Series X and S isn't a great situation for Microsoft, but remains committed to having games released on both the X and S. So it's kind of what we've just been speaking about there. But I think the kind of takeaway of this is I haven't seen him this active, and I've not seen as many sound bites from Xbox as I have in the last 2 days, where he's even taking the piss out of some of the recently leaked emails, and he's saying, no, I'm the boss, on one of the interviews where he's going wasn't the Ubisoft partnership and how it could affect he's like, yeah, but previously other people were making the calls, and Bobby, what's his name? Kotick. Yeah, had said something, and a bit of criticism, and a bit of it got met very, very quickly with, no, I'm the boss. I call the shots now. There's somebody else calling the shots.
You won't be here when this all goes through.
Yeah, I'm really appreciating the fact that he's coming out fighting, and I'm really appreciating the fact that there are so many sound bites from him, and that he seems hyper confident. Also, really loved what he said about Starfield, and that he's 200 hours into that game now, and he's had to play multiple different versions. He's been playing since November last year. It feels like everything that the top person at a console company or game company like Xbox or Sony should be doing. We don't get that with Sony. We'll never get that with Sony. It's too corporate and it's too sterile. But the fact that you are getting this from someone that clearly loves the industry and enjoys talking about it as well, and is competent talking about it, we've not really had that since Reggie. So yeah, I like it. Don't know what you guys think.
Yeah,
no, definitely. I completely agree.
Cool. So yeah, that's been Xbox's input. I think there's going to be a hell of a lot more stories that come out over the next couple of days. We said about Gamescom Day 1 as well, and that Fallout TV show, but again, nothing really to kind of report back on there. I don't know how they're going to handle that, because one of the best things for the Fallout TV show for me is like the humor in it, and I don't really think you can, unless they make the TV show buggy. Is it going to have
but
the
it's
same?
Amazon, so
Yeah, if they can't that's the point. If they can't have like a mole rat accidentally getting yeeted for like, I don't know, just into the horizon, because you've hit it with something that it shouldn't have got hit with. I don't think it's going to have the same level of, I don't know, connection with me as a Fallout fan. But yeah, what were you all thinking of? Like, have you seen a Halo TV show yet?
I've never ever watched it.
I'm not interested in it really either. Like, it's just, I watched the first few episodes come out and people were just like, yeah, it's not the same.
I would say give it a go, because I really enjoyed it, and it was the reason I enjoyed it was the same reason I enjoyed like Star Trek: The Next Generation, like the Monster of the Week element to it. And it's not a Halo TV show. It is, because it's got obviously Master Chief and some of the elements to it and the characters. The gunfights in it are brilliant, and the CG in it's really good. But the story itself was actually quite interesting, and I was a little bit surprised by it, and I'm quite excited to see season 2. I would say you can get, I think, a free week on Paramount Plus. I think there's only like 8 episodes for the season, so it's definitely worth it.
I'll find a way to watch it.
It's on Amazon, so if you go on Amazon, and I think through the actual Amazon app, the Prime app, you can get a week free subscription to Paramount Plus. Yeah. It's definitely worth it, just to go through it in a couple of days, which is what I did. I definitely thought it was worth it, which I wouldn't say the usual TV shows. Should we pick up and play a bit, guys? Shall we?
Right.
Alex, what have you picked up, mate?
What have I picked up? I have picked up Firewall Ultra for the VR2, but I haven't played it yet. So it released today at 4:00, but I haven't actually had a chance to play it. and I've also picked up Baldur's Gate 3 on the PlayStation. But it was because Ben really convinced me. So like,
instant excuse. I love it.
No, Ben and I, when we were talking about this, was it in the last episode? I can't remember. We said we'd maybe try and play it together on the PlayStation.
Good idea.
And because I had to top up a certain card to buy a game from a certain country, then I might as well have topped enough up to buy the 2 games at the same time. So, yeah.
Lewis.
Yes, Lewis.
You just mentioned you and Ben playing it. Is that split screen? Because when I think of split screen, I think of like GoldenEye. I still don't understand this whole split screen.
Well,
thing.
I don't know whether. No, but
So
I think
Carl and I
split screens
played
like.
Yeah. Sorry, Carl and I played Baldur's Gate 3 co-op the other day. So it's a co-op experience where you're both on the screen at the same time. But if you fuck off and go to a separate part of the map, you get your party that you've created. The only thing I would say that's a little bit negative is you have to create a character to go into the other person's game, and if they're in like cutscenes and stuff, you can choose to watch it. But if that person gets ahead of where you are in your game,
you're going to start seeing their parts of the story.
Yeah, and their decisions they're making, they're not the decisions you're making. You can't like co-op those unless you're talking to each other.
Do it all together.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not precious about that part, then I wouldn't think of it. But I got to a point where Carl was like completely further on one side of the map where he'd gone off on a different tangent. And I was just a little bit like, I don't want to see that. I want to experience it on my own. And if I wasn't near Carl and he was in an exchange with like dialogue, I wouldn't be able to see it if I didn't click on him. It was just a bit. It was fun and it was good, but you just have to be quite organised and cooperative, which Carl obviously isn't. So, yeah, I'd say research it first.
And that's what you can't do in the Series S.
You can do that in the Series S. You can't do co-op locally. That's what I believe. You can't sit there and play it on the same TV.
Right. Okay.
The X you can. And you can't do that on PC. I don't think. Okay, and you can pick those two. I mean, Firewall Ultra. Just tell me a little bit about that because I've seen
So it's FPS, like extraction shooter, more kind of Rainbow Six-esque. So there's two main modes. You've got your 4v4, like I think you need to go and hack a laptop and get out, and then you've got 4v4 PvE, where you've got basically you can go and squad up together and kind of learn the game stuff. But it was at Firewall 0 Hour was the PSVR 1
Yeah, I remember that
version. So this is published by Sony. So it's the first one that's made by First Contact Entertainment, published by Sony. I think it's Unreal Engine 5 as well. Seems to have come out with relatively good reception. There was no reviews at it beforehand because it's basically a live service game. They didn't really give out any codes because there was no point really, because if there's nobody to play with, you need a big enough audience, like, and people want to play it to make it worthwhile giving codes out, particularly given you need other people to play against, or even 4 people to play it together to do the PvE stuff. So, but it seems to have, as it only launched a few hours ago, and what I've seen so far seems to be quite positive. So looking forward to giving it a try. FPS is not normally my type of thing, but just given where we're at with VR, and given that anything that doesn't seem to be my type of thing, I seem to have enjoyed more in VR and seem to have been a little bit better at in VR. I don't know if it's just immersion or whatever, so I'm going to try it and see if I like it.
Okay. I'm going to move us on a little bit quicker because we're coming up to an hour already. Because we've just been gabbing, guys. We've just been chatting.
Yeah.
It's all been Gamescom love, hasn't it? Lewis,
great fun.
Lewis, what have you picked up, mate? In fact, you picked up the same thing as Tyler, so you can talk about that.
I picked up Vampire Survivors.
On what console? PC?
The Nintendo Switch.
They've still got games on it. Wow.
They do, and I got it for gold coins, no cash. Changed hands, and I got it just for the sake of it. I bought it when did it come out? Friday, last week, some point.
Yeah,
Thursday or Friday. It was one day.
Yeah, I've not played it since.
And then Tyler, you picked this up as well. Did you have this on anything else before, or
first time I had it on? It was on Game Pass, so I played it. I played probably 20 hours on PC, maybe another 5 or 6 on Xbox.
Bloody hell.
This was like, because of the style of game that it is, it's the perfect one for the couple of days a week I used to have, where I had like 5 or 6 hours of meetings back to back that I had no input into. So I would sit there on mute on the off chance someone asked a technical question, and it requires just enough brain power that I can do both successfully.
Yeah,
so I played loads of it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, definitely. In fact, I actually think they help me in meetings be more engaged because I'm actually focused on both. I'm shit. If they ask me a question, I'm actually listening now, rather than if I'm just sat there like zoning out. Yeah, it's even worse. I'm not going to pick this up.
If you're on a meeting, ask a question, a clarification question at the very end. Makes you seem like you've been listening for the whole thing.
Yeah, but then everyone hates you because you're that guy at the end that's asked something. And you're like,
that's dragged the meeting on.
Yeah, God's sake.
Yeah, no, not at the point where they're like, right, closing up.
Okay.
Maybe 10 or so minutes before that point. Then that's when you pounce.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, so I mean, I've got that on Steam Deck, so I don't feel the need to buy it again on Switch to play it portably, but I really enjoyed that game. I think I played 4 or 5 hours of it so far. And it's one of those where it's just like, oh, this is crack. I'm going to be addicted to this if I keep on playing it. It's scary. You can get it on mobile as well, can't you?
It doesn't feel as good. It doesn't feel as good playing it on a phone. I tried, and there's no gamepad support. You can't play with a backbone or a Kishi, or where I tried to play it on a tablet and pair an Xbox controller to it. Didn't like that either. But if you stream it, because you can stream it through the Game Pass app, then it will support controller. Then it works better.
Okay, and were you
until
playing?
It gets to a certain point and it just dies. There's too many things on the screen. You're like,
I took a couple of screenshots when I got to like 27 minutes, and it was just like I was fine. I wasn't going to die, but it was just like,
what the fuck is going on?
Blocky pixels, like nothing. I was like, oh, this is it. I'm not doing anything now.
Yeah, it's just pixel fireworks at a certain point.
Yeah, I did enjoy that game. It had that kind of, like, I know most of those style of games have it, but like Hades kind of effect of just like you do certain runs and you get to a certain minute and then the adrenaline hits and you're like, oh fuck, I'm like 30 seconds away from a high score. Then you get to the high score and there's like a new enemy there that you've never seen before and it's rapid as fuck. Or you get a wave of bats that just corner you and you're like, fuck. But yeah, it's really cool. Okay, I'll talk about what I picked up. So I've only got one thing this week and it is the second version and it's the Elden Ring
Delicious
law book.
Shards of the Shattering Book of Knowledge, and
Shards of the Shattering.
Shards of the Shattering. Shut up. So it comes with a few bits,
Shut up.
shut up. But the quality of it is just like the artwork's stunning. Reminds me of the old-fashioned guides that you used to be able to get, where it's just like smells fucking fantastic. All of the enemies, just everything you could possibly think of. I will never read this in a million years, but I like the idea of just having it there on the shelf and knowing that if I ever want to go and read something about that section again, or it's just, I don't know. You guys are exactly the same. When you get something, it's even got this little fucking lovely little.
Oh, that's cool.
If you want it,
I do like those.
It's just nice. It's really cool. The art book's coming out later this year, and there's 2 of those as well. And I've said no, I'm not going to get it, but it came with these as well. I'll just quickly show you them, which I want to get framed. So like a couple of prints.
Oh, they're nice.
Oh yeah,
That's very nice.
The initial area. Then we've got cunt. I don't even. Somebody will have to describe them. I don't even know what the section is. I can't remember.
So that looks
That's
like
where you fight the one of the late game story bosses, isn't it?
the blood guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. Blood guy. That was his name.
Blood guy.
That's where you fight that other guy.
Big James. He's in there.
Big Jim.
It's Stormvale.
Yeah,
Stormvale, yeah.
Yeah, Stormvale.
Is it God? No, it's not Godric.
Godfrey.
It's the Godfrey's the early
Godfrey.
one. Godric's the later one.
My personal favourite. I love that image.
The volcano.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so dark.
I know. But yeah, just the quality of those books, absolutely lovely. And I didn't even know it came with those art pieces until I opened it before. I was pleasantly surprised. I was like, oh shit. Definitely worth it. If you loved Elden Ring and you just want to see them there on your shelf, pick up that book.
Elden Ring's one of those games that the time away has made me appreciate it a lot more. And it wasn't in my top 10, but I think it probably is now.
Yeah, we need to revisit them at the end of the year. We said we'd do that, wouldn't we? I think go through everyone's top 10s throughout the probably the patrons as well, and build out something. Okie dokie. Alex, so you picked up Firewall Ultra and Baldur's Gate 3. You've been playing something called Pistol Whip.
Yeah, Lewis has been playing Pistol Whip as well. We've had a little competition. Lewis won. Lewis didn't actually,
say that again.
Lewis didn't actually win because Bart won, to be fair.
Well, you don't know that yet.
Bart hopefully won. We've still got a few hours.
We've still got time.
Yeah.
I'm not going to have a chance to play it, I don't think.
So this was the VR challenge of the week. So there's been a lot of a Pistol Whip being played, which has been fun.
Such a good game.
It is. It's great. I think this has really made me appreciate how good it is. It's definitely right up there with one of the best. Just so much fun. So sweaty. Incredibly sweaty.
You took the words right out of my mouth there. Passion, sweat, playing that game.
Absolutely. Like
I've made a doctor's appointment.
I've been playing about that, and then I've also been playing a bit of New Star Grand Prix. So this is an early access game on Steam. So I've been playing it on Steam Deck. It was Mark who'd mentioned it in Discord. I'm like, oh, that looks quite cool. So I thought I'm going to try this, and it's like, do you know how that Formula Retro Racing game? You remember that? So it's a little bit like that, but it's better.
Is this by the same folk that done New Star Soccer and Retro Goal?
Yes, it is indeed.
Right.
Yes, because there's a retro bowl like advertisement in the game and stuff like that.
Okay, cool.
So, but it's the story, the kind of career mode set over like different decades of Formula One, and like the names of the characters and stuff are like kind of make you think of like Gilles Villeneuve and Ayrton Senna and all kind of little touches in places like that. But it plays really nicely. It's got like a boost and stuff that you don't normally get. You've got like different staff that can give you different boosts and benefits and how you perform in the races. Plays absolutely beautifully on the Steam Deck. I don't think it's verified or anything in early access. And it's a lot of fun, so I'm really glad Mark mentioned it because I've not played too much of it yet, but thoroughly enjoying it. Up game.
Good. Is it the same graphical style as like Retro?
Yeah, so it's that. Well,
that sort of
I think so. I've not played them, but I think so. It's that kind of old school polygon type game. So yeah, good. Very good.
They're really addictive, those games. I spent a lot
I can
of time
see
in
that's
Retro.
been very addictive.
the fuck was it called? Retro Goal? And then
Goal.
New Star Soccer that I had on my phone in like 2012. Oh, the amount of time I
Hated that
spent on
game.
those games.
Loved it and hated it at the same time.
Yeah. They ruined it by adding too much. Then I think there was a paid version, so they absolutely ruined it. But yeah, they're really cool games. What was that one, Alex? Steam?
Steam, yeah. I'm assuming it'll come to consoles at some point, but it's in early access in Steam at the moment.
Nice.
So I've just booted up Marvel Snap while we were doing this because obviously I want to get this fucking character thing. Oh my god, that full screen version, Tyler!
It looks amazing, doesn't it?
Wow.
And when you start using like some of the plugins that you see like streamers use that will, as you're playing, it'll put like on the left side it'll be your deck and all the cards you've got in yours. On the right side, as they play cards, especially in Conquest where you've got more than one game against the same person, it'll fill out what's in their deck so you can estimate what could be coming and stuff like that.
I'm going to need to stream that at some point like a proper nerd, and then annoy you, Tyler, with that. That's really cool. So, Tyler, you've been playing the Xenoblade 3 DLC. I want to hear about that.
Yeah. So yeah, this came out like maybe a week before Tears of the Kingdom, and I intentionally was like, I'm not playing it because I will delay starting Tears of the Kingdom for it. Because I love like all three Xenoblade games I really enjoyed, but the third one just was so like it was off. It was different because of the way they were trying to combine the other two games, and if you've played them, you sort of know it's going to happen, but you don't really know how. So you played through like the main game, and a little bit like the DLC for the second game, where it's set before the actual like the DLC is set before the game as an almost sort of like prequel, bridging, filling lore out, stuff like that. This does the same sort of thing again. To set before the third game finishes off, tying in the other two games into it, how that plays out. Plays ultimately, like gameplay loop-wise, exactly the same as Xenoblade 3 does. There's loads of little references to locations, characters, story elements from the other games. And I'm not finished it yet. I'm probably fairly close, but I keep doing the sidetracking thing where I'll sort of like do a story thing and then just disappear because there's a unique boss or a side quest to go and do. So where I was intending to like pretty much beeline it and be done in 15 hours, I'm probably at 17 or 18, and I know I've got another 10 or 11 to go.
But does it feel forced, or do you feel like you're enjoying those distractions?
I'm enjoying them, definitely, because if I wasn't enjoying them, I'd have done what I intended to do, which was not get it out the way, but see what the story was there for, which was ultimately the reason I wanted to play the DLC, was for the story. I wanted to just sort of like see how it all bridged it together, have my little moment of like finishing that whole story arc. Feels like reading sort of like 6 of the Harry Potter books and missing, you want to see how this all culminates. And that was all I really wanted it for. But I found myself just disappearing off and doing these side quests, these world bosses that I'm ultimately not going to see any benefit from because it's not a big enough game to really enjoy, like, going for max level or anything else. So I'm just doing it because I'm enjoying getting distracted by it.
Yeah, I'm curious to know whether or not it pays off for you, so let us know when you get to the end of it finally, if you feel it was a suitable payoff for the story. I've definitely wanted to persevere with that game, and it's probably the only Xenoblade where I've gone, yeah, that actually did interest me. Same with like Dragon Quest XI. I played it for maybe like 30, 40 minutes. I was like, I'll come back to that in 7.5 years when I've got the headspace to fucking play a game like that. Whereas like with Xenoblade 3, I was like, yeah, I didn't really resonate with 2. Just the fucking accents again. I know we spoke about it maybe on 100 of these pods.
The accent thing is definitely a problem, but
it's beyond a problem, mate. It's well worse. It's terrible.
I don't know. I stopped hearing it after a little while. Like it just doesn't bother me in the same way.
I don't know. Just because it's like the Scottish guy from that fucking one that Lewis and I always talk about.
Oh, what, Bravely Default?
Yeah, like it's just a forced version of that forced version of that regional accent, and for some reason, it's like sugary to me. It's just like it's too much, and I go, it's like when I hear like a fake Scouse accent, or not a fake Scouse, but somebody putting on more of a Scouse accent in a TV show with fucking Stephen Merchant, whoever, and it's like, why do that? Why put on?
Why stereotype it so much?
Yeah, it's just like it doesn't have to be over-engineered or false. Like you can do it in like a sincere way. And I think in the games that we play, I don't know, there's precedent, isn't there, of putting on a really like over-the-top fucking Samwise Gamgee voice. So some of the Yorkshire accents and that, which is balmy.
I think it's one of those things. It almost became a trope for the series, though, because the first game, the reason the accents were so overblown was because they didn't have a lot of budget for an English voice cast.
Yeah,
and I think because that happened once, they're like, we're just going to play into that now.
Yeah, I don't know. I always think of the Nino Cooney, and I can't remember the name of the character, the little lamp fella. Is it Lampy? It might be something stupid as that. Yeah,
that's what I've got in my head for it. Yeah,
he's got the thickest Welsh accent. And I'm like, why are you Welsh? Like, it's like, again, I've got nothing against the people of Wales, but why are you Welsh, mate? Why the fuck have you got such a thick accent? It just like throws me out of it. It might just be me. I'm really sorry. Again, I've got nothing against people, but you just put on a really thick fucking UK accent and then you throw them into a game. I'm not going to enjoy it. So there you go. Go figure. Okay. Lewis, how is your pilgrimage with Arceus going?
It's going well. I think I've played it for around maybe 7 or 8 hours now. It mixes up Pokemon enough for me to want to play it, because I think I just got to a point with the old games where it just is rinse and repeat.
Does it make them sexy?
Depends what you're into, I guess.
Sexy Pokemon.
Sexy Pokemon. Yeah, there's not. I guess at this point anyway, there's not like any put clothes on Pikachu. Like,
okay, there's not like a fashion show or anything.
There's no fashion shows.
No, that's silliness.
Take clothes off Pikachu.
Take clothes off Pikachu.
I think there is a Vaporeon in there somewhere.
What?
I do like
that is a very niche reference that I don't recommend looking up.
Yeah,
oh dear. Is there a culture of Vaporeons?
Oh my god. Oh fuck.
I always thought it'd be like Snorlax getting it. The man, innit? He's the man.
Yeah, I like it. It's at least the first 8 hours are quite good. Like I like how you see the Pokemon on the grass, and you can go and you can chuck a Pokeball at them. You can sneak it behind them. You can chuck a Pokeball at them. You can sneak it behind them. You can chuck a Pokemon at them. You can sneak it behind them. You can chuck some fruit at them. You can hide in some bushes. You can hide in some grass. You can stand in front of them. You can peep out from behind the tree.
The options are limitless.
There's loads to do. You can go and have some mochi bowls or whatever the fuck it's called. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
It's good. I've not played it for a couple of days, but yeah, it's probably just the right thing coming down off of having not played Tears of the Kingdom for a couple of weeks. Just ease myself out before I likely get sucked into Starfield, Alan Wake, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Just something easy, no thought required.
Just hiding in bushes. That's all you want to do.
Yeah, just hiding in bushes.
Hiding in bushes. Tyler, you hated this game, didn't you?
Yeah, I hated it. No, I didn't.
Tyler. You're a liar.
I 100%ed it, which I don't ever do with games.
How many Pokemon are in it?
You caught them all.
160 something, I want to say. But I'd finished the Pokedex entries for every single one.
Right,
which
okay.
is not like a traditional Pokemon game, where it's you catch it and then it's in your Pokedex. The filling out the Pokedex entries is like catch more than a certain amount of them, use a certain move more than X amount of times.
Kiss them on the mouth, hold their hands.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Completes it.
But yeah, by the time you get to the end of the game and like all the post game where you start seeing the legendary Pokemon for that region turn up, it gets a bit not repetitive, but you're just like, yeah, okay, I know what I've got to do now. Let's just get on with it. But I was so far in by that point that I'd done 97% of it. I wasn't going to let the last 3% slip. And I was playing it at the same time as like a couple of other friends who was like, they were getting through it as well. But I was like, right, I'm going to 100% this. And we'd send each other like every couple of days, one of us would be like, oh, I've done another big chunk, or I've now finished this or that. And it was that, like what we had with Elden Ring, where we were all playing it, that sense of, I probably played more of it because, especially that last sort of 15-20%, because other people were playing it and you've got that chatting about it every day, keeps it interesting.
So are there that's Diamond and Pearl, right?
Yeah.
Are they the same towns and stuff
No.
in the original game? Is it all different?
Yeah, so where Diamond and Pearl is set, like, when
Different
they came
islands,
out
aren't they?
modern day, and Arceus is like the equivalent of like Edo period, so 700 or 800 years before.
Is it?
But they're
So
all
it's
on different
where,
islands
like-
anyway, aren't they? I think in terms of the geography of the actual
Yeah.
games, and that's how they justify the different Pokemon in different areas as well.
Yeah, and they're like
Good
regional variants and stuff like that. You get little bits of lore given to you in Arceus that are alluded to then in Diamond and Pearl.
So
Okay.
if they really doubled down on it, Pokemon Company would be. They're sitting on it's a fucking gold mine anyway for Nintendo, but it's a gold mine if they were to really bring out something that was next gen. And I think that's just what we've all clamoured for. Like Arceus felt it was the right step, or it was a step in the right direction towards that. But I mean, doing something like an Elden Ring clone in Pokemon of like a vast area with genuinely interesting stories and things happening with like the caliber of a Witcher 3 kind of side story, like it really would benefit. But then I remind myself that this is for kids, and it always will be for kids, and it's just something that I don't think it ever will mature and follow its original audience generation with. So I'm a bit like, yeah, I don't know. I'm conflicted, guys. I'm conflicted.
Mm.
I like it as I think what it was supposed to be, which is like a proof of concept or a tech demo for taking Pokemon and doing something different enough that it feels fresh, but not so different that it feels completely divorced from your main franchise games.
Yeah,
Because there's little parts of it that are reminiscent of Pokemon Snap to an extent, and they're taking interesting elements of that, and I'd kind of like to see a point where they alternate between like a mainline game and then maybe a remake, or like a mainline game and then a Legends game. Then every 2 or 3 of those cycles, they'll add a remake in, because otherwise they're going to be remaking Red and Blue for the 3rd time in a few years.
Yeah, or double down on it and do something like the old games, like the old Game Boy games, and keep it like almost like A Link to the Past. You know, if you want to change up the art style slightly, I know they did that with the Red and Blue.
The Fire Red and Leaf Green.
But just go back to basics, like make it an actual Pokemon game, because I think then that would appease our generation, and it probably would buy in a lot of younger people as well if you had that on the kind of Switch screen with a bit of modernity to it. But anyway, who am I to ask for these things?
Yeah.
I reckon Jinx has been touched up in a Dark Knight Club at some points as well.
Probably.
She's humanoid, isn't she?
By Mr. Mime. Big hand.
Mr. Mime, yeah, big whole loaves of bread.
You mentioned in there the art styles or whatever. I know I've complained about it before, but a Pokemon game in that HD 2D Octopath style, that's
totally.
pretty cool.
Yeah, totally agree. In that engine, fantastic.
Yeah. Do Soul Silver in that engine, because Soul Silver is still the best traditional Pokemon game they've ever made. They will never make a better one now, I don't think.
Is that before they went to like tea parties and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, it's before they started being... It's like a faithful remake of Gold and Silver, in that you do all of Johto and then go back and do Kanto as well. You end up having your showdown with Red at the top of, I want to say, Mount Silver. It's appropriately difficult, but you never feel like it's unfair or too easy. It's just they got everything exactly right.
Yeah. That's why it's £200 in CX. Whenever you go and try and buy that game, it's not cheap. I'm not going to talk about Baldur's Gate 3 because I've chewed everyone's ears off about it, other than like some of the sections that I've seen recently. The game's getting better and better as I go through it, and I'm just taking my time with it, similar to Tears of the Kingdom, which I still haven't finished. It's just I've got these 2 wonderful games. I've got a trip abroad coming up with work where I've got a plane flight there. I just can't wait to get on there and play either of them, and I can't wait to play the other one on the way back. I'm just, completely in love with Baldur's Gate 3 and Tears of the Kingdom at the same time. I can't pick. It's a love triangle, guys. Alex, do you want to say anything about New Star GP quickly before we move on?
I already did.
You did, actually, didn't you? Sorry, mate.
So forgettable.
I was trying to log into Marvel Snap, so, obviously you started talking about a racing game. What you expected? We're going to quickly talk about
like Road 96.
yeah, whatever. Jack Kerouac. We're going to talk about PlayStation Portal Q-uestion time because it was called PlayStation Q, wasn't it, for a little while. That's what we were calling it.
Project Q.
So Ethan lovingly put together a load of the questions for us to kind of answer with people listening because realistically, we think there's quite a lot of conjecture online. We don't really think people understand exactly what this thing fucking is and how it works and what features it's got. So we're going to try and clear them up in the next 5 to 10 minutes. I'm going to ask the guys to chime in. Have we all kind of read up on this? So we kind of au fait with what Portal is now? And
I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
okay, well, I'm going to ask you all at the end to kind of give your opinion on this and whether or not you're actually going to get one. But then also, I appreciate the limitations of what this does. And well, yeah, we'll dive into that, I think, straight away. We've said, well, what is this? Is the kind of first question that we're going to answer. I've gone to the official PlayStation.com website. They say the handheld gateway to your PS5 games. Play your PS5 console over your home Wi-Fi with console quality controls using PlayStation Portal Remote Player. PlayStation Portal Remote Player gives you access to the games on your PS5 over your home Wi-Fi, letting you jump right into the gaming without needing to play on a TV. You can play your entire game collection, experience breathtaking immersion with DualSense wireless control features. This essentially is a DualSense split down a half with a big screen in the middle of it.
Yeah.
It's fair to say. Yeah, we all agree.
Yeah.
All of the adaptive triggers in the support games should say it's got the vibrations to it. Just seems to have pretty much everything that DualSense does, which sounds cool. It's got an 8-inch LCD screen. What do we think about that not being OLED?
Price.
Yeah, it's got to be a price thing.
But really, like considering you can get a Switch OLED for, and the screen
Bigger
for that
screen,
must
though.
be
For
similar.
£300.
Is it a bigger screen?
Mm-hmm. I think
Yeah,
the Switch is
okay.
7 inch.
Yeah, the OLED's 7 and this is 8.
I stand corrected. Okay, it's 60 FPS capable at 1080p resolution. Again, 1080p for a screen that
Right.
size, more than enough,
More
if
than
not
enough.
too much, probably. Get gaming fast. So the Portal Remote Player is a purpose-built device dedicated to delivering an incredible remote play experience. That means you can turn it on, press buttons, connect to your PS5 console, and get playing with remarkable speed. I don't know how I feel about needing the PS5 on to play this. I think that's probably the one thing. Lewis is squinting at the screen. That's turning you off, is it, mate?
Yeah, I don't want to have the PlayStation on to use this.
Yeah.
I know it's not a cloud thing. I'd rather it be cloud or streaming. I don't want to be downstairs and the PlayStation on in this room, just running away, mirroring what's on that little handheld.
Yeah.
And I was joking about it, but it is a massive waste of energy, I think.
It's a big waste of energy. I think it's also, it's not what I'm used to when I play or stream anything currently with Game Pass. And I think that's why it feels like a little bit of a kick in the gut. Alex,
But they just
Tyler?
don't have the infrastructure.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's-
PlayStation don't have the infrastructure on it. I mean, still, even in beta, they've got a handful of PS5 games you can actually stream to the PS5 itself, never mind anything else. Like,
this
their
is
streaming
exactly
capability
like-
just isn't there.
This is exactly what they've been doing since PS3 or early PS4 era. Because I remember doing this with streaming Destiny to my Vita, and it was
Yeah.
fucking awful.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the kind of, I mean, we'll jump on. So we said, what is it? I think it's fair to say we'll jump to the question, who is it for? And I've just put a bullet point of debate. Ethan's commented, high-end solution for those wanting remote play. Essentially, those that want a Wii U without the double screen features, or a backbone with good posture. I guess it's the closest remote PS5 experience you can get with the DualSense features.
Yeah.
So it's whether that is worth it for you. It's an early adopter product, isn't it? It's not going to be £200 forever. And at the moment, it's for people wanting to see whether or not they've got it right. I think it's probably fair.
I think for me, it's for the person who does not have sole use of the TV that they play the PlayStation on.
Yeah, this is exactly what I'm starting to think as well. It's for people who want to sit and play their PS5 games, probably not the more immersive, story-intensive stuff, but while they're sat with their partner watching, low effort TV, or while their kids are watching cartoons all day, dad can get a little bit, or mum or dad can get a little bit of time playing whatever game they want to play on their PS5. It's to be used in home because you can't use a TV. And that's where the energy thing, I kind of spun it the other way when we were talking about it. Like, yes, your PS5 is running, but your TV is not. And I'd be interested to see, for the size of a panel on most people's TVs, what the energy output is and the cost of that compared to an 8-inch screen. Because
that's a good point.
Yeah, definitely.
My position on it was always like, I'd rather it just be a streaming device and not need the PlayStation on at all.
Yeah. This part fucks me off. So how much is it? So it's $199 in US dollars. It's £199
for now.
But look at the.
It's still going to be a while. I
don't know. I give it, when they're saying this thing's going to release, I give it till next Black Friday, and it'll be like a Series S. You'll pick them up either second hand or on a deal or a refurb for like sub 150 easy.
I don't know. Alex, you're the resident frivolous spender. Like £199. That
it's less than I thought it was going to be.
No, I agree. It is, because Sony put stupid price on anything recently. But then, obviously, I bought the PSVR 2 for about £200 cheaper, I think, than what you guys picked it up for, brand new. I got it second hand for like 310, 320 or something. So for me, this still feels about £50 away from a comfortable amount I'd like to spend.
Yeah. I think 150 is probably a nice sweet spot, and I think as Tyler says, you probably get it there. But I can't see. Well, we're going to come to that, so I won't say that just now. But I'm like, it doesn't. Other than the actual DualSense features, it doesn't sell.
Screen.
And the screen,
but it's not adding anything. Like, ultimately, you can do effectively this already without the DualSense features.
Yeah,
like
you could play this on your Mac if you want. If you can remote play on anything pretty much now, can't you? But it's the part that I don't know is the PlayStation Link, and that seems to get better
is that
latency.
Not just for the audio?
I know. I thought it was for everything.
No, so the link the way I was using, because you're just connecting to the Wi-Fi to do the remote device. There's no PlayStation 5 doesn't have PlayStation Link.
No, there's no technology out there that is superior to what we use for Wi-Fi for that kind of streaming.
I did read something though that said if you connect it to PlayStation Link. Let me just try and find it. It was a tweet, so it's not
PlayStation Link is, as far as I'm aware, and this is where it's all getting a bit confusing. But the PlayStation Link is a proprietary lossless audio tech, and that's what the headsets then connect to it. And you need a dongle for PlayStation Link to connect the headsets to the PS5.
The bit that gets me though, like if Dan's right and PlayStation Link is a new proprietary technology or whatever, ultimately, what's this handheld going to run like as an OS underneath? Because realistically, it's going to be Linux or it's going to be Android. And if it's either of those things, then it means it could be added to the Remote Play app really easily. So they're literally locking features behind a piece of hardware for the sake of profiteering off it.
So anyone listening to us, keep us honest on the PS Link stuff, because I can't see a lot, and there's, again, a lot of conjecture online, like normal, because what I was reading on the tweet by a guy called @nib95_, not a reliable source, admittedly. He got a blue tick, that doesn't mean fuck all anymore. Basically, he says PS Link for lower latency is pro. I mean, look,
it's definitely just wireless audio tech.
Is it definitely? I mean, that's fuck all then, isn't it? What's
the point?
When I played Remote Play and there's that latency, it just instantly turns me off it. And if I paid £200 for something like that and I had latency at all, I'd be like, I'm completely out. It does not make sense for me to play that. Streaming a game through something, where there is, I don't know, just issues with Wi-Fi or something, I can live with that because that's the Wi-Fi, it's going to have that. But when it comes to latency from a console that's sat a couple of meters away from me, that I could just pick up a controller instead for £40 and play the game on my telly, it just doesn't feel like enough of a trade-off. It feels too much of a trade-off. Okay, so features that it does have, and also things that are missing from it. So it has got a gorgeous display, 1080p, 8-inch. It'll play the games better natively than something like one of the Pro iPhones, because the actual screen size and the display size is more accurate, isn't it? In the way that it is the 8-inch, it's not. It's
Yeah, the
16:9.
aspect ratio is correct.
It's correct to what a
There's
television.
nothing
would have.
else running in the background.
Exactly that as well.
It's always a benefit. Yeah.
But at the same time, there's nothing else running in the background, but you're on a much less powerful chip. Otherwise, the thing would cost twice as much.
Yeah. Full dual sense features. Written on here, only exception, believe, is the player indicator light, which of course isn't needed. It's got 3.5 millimeter jack, guys. Woohoo! Most modern phones don't have
I
that.
was going to say, everyone's moaning about phones and stuff not having a headphone jack. So
yeah, it's got speaker grills. One thing I would say is like my old Mac Pro from 2019 has got like dots in it for the speaker, and whereas like the new Macs don't have that. It's so much better than not having it because it's one less thing to fucking awkwardly clean. So I would say having a speaker grill is also not a benefit. Certainly not a feature benefit. Ethan commented, bare minimum, really, isn't it? Particularly if you're using proprietary tech for wireless audio. That's quite funny. Bluetooth is missing. Baffling. You have to buy PlayStation Link compatible headphones.
Which are extortionate.
Yeah, scummy.
Yeah, I know. Which were also advertised as part of the presentation for the new headset Elite and what the Bud's called.
They're called. They've got a random name. Like,
200 quid again.
Pulse Explore earbud.
What are you doing? Pulse Explore. You wear them fucking anywhere else other than your house, and you'll get mugged. In fact, I would actively, if anybody sees anybody wearing them, mug them.
The only thing I liked about, just going completely off topic, but it's not really completely, but the Pulse Pros or whatever they're called, they come with a charging. They come with a charging hook. So the hook that you hang them on charges the.
Oh really?
Charges the
I didn't see that part.
I like that. That's good.
That will be everything in a home at some point, though. Let's be brutally honest. At some point, your home will just charge, and that'll be it. So I think it's nice we're getting these things. But anyway, a charging hook from Alex, so we'll put that on the feature list.
But just on Bluetooth, you're going to be like a cheapy Bluetooth dongle, surely, that you can plug into
some or whatever USB stuff. Yeah.
And not if there's no. I mean, you would assume that, but not if Sony's got nothing in there that can actually
give it 3 weeks after it comes out, and there'll be something on AliExpress you can buy for 50 pence that allows you to do it.
Yeah, look at what happened with the Switch. There was no indication it'd ever work, and how many people came out with Bluetooth capable units like really quickly. It'll be exactly the same again.
Yeah, some twat will be doing it as a Kickstarter because they've made theirs platinum. And then obviously commented on here, things are missing, so an OLED screen. But again, price point makes sense, 200 quid. So yeah, you're not going to get that beautiful screen. Battery life, the quote was aiming to match a DualSense battery life. So my DualSense, I could get an hour out of that thing, or I could get 3 tops. I've got more trust in my Steam Deck. One, because it tells me more accurately than the fucking UI does on PlayStation anyway. But I've got more chance of my Steam Deck outlasting this thing if it's playing an OLED. Not an OLED, sorry. It's playing a giant 8-inch screen. No chance this is lasting more than 3 hours. No chance.
No great.
Yeah. There's no first-party case for it yet.
But then why would you put it in a case? Like, you don't want to take this thing outside your house.
Yeah, but like again,
well, that's kind of the point. But they don't. But they're rather. But you don't. It's not something that I think is going to sit nicely around anywhere. Though you're going to want to put it in something.
I dread the adverts for this when it comes out. You know, we don't have a release date yet, do we? The pre-order date hasn't.
I think it's expected any time, but they've not. I'm surprised they didn't come out with it.
This is going to get pushed so hard down parents' throats for Christmas. And they are going to buy this thing based on the fact they'll
PS5.
see. Well, maybe without the PS5, but let's say benefit of the doubt, it makes it very clear you need a PS5, and the parents with a PS5 buy this for the kids. But I guarantee there'll be some arsehole in marketing at Sony that shows this person taking this lovely brand new Portal out on a beach with Wi-Fi As long and there'll be that blue Wi-Fi logo kind of color coming over as if they're getting Wi, and then they're playing God of War on a beach or playing it in an airport, and it's so like they're not accepting the fact that it's going to be like 15 seconds delay on every input that you put into that fucking game because of the Wi-Fi is like 10 megabytes a second.
Even closer to home though, like even if they take the Christmas angle and it's like, oh, you can play this at the family we're going to for Christmas dinner.
What parents going to do? Like, what parents going to buy? Hold on. So, like, here's another option for your child being completely antisocial. You didn't want to buy them a Switch because you were worried about the effects of like taking a game console out on the road anyway at the best of times. You were quite happy with them having a PlayStation 5 because their friends have got one. They want to play FIFA now and again. But guess what? Now they're going to ruin every single family event because they're going to bring this fucking thing with them that's going to get scratched to fuck because it doesn't have an official case for. They can't use the Bluetooth headphones, so you're going to have to pay another 50 quid out for a PlayStation set that looks fucking ridiculous. Looks like you're wearing a marshmallow for a hat. I don't know.
And the fucking DualSense pieces are going to fall off each side of a cheap tablet.
Yeah, they're aiming for a DualSense battery life, so it's going to run out in 2 hours. And then someone's going to have to run around the house trying to find a USB-C charger at grandma's, even though she's fucking rocking a Nokia 3310. It's like it's just going to be a shit show, and if they advertise this in the wrong way, I can see it being really nefarious, and I can see a lot of kickoffs about it. People in
the return rate's been quite high.
Yeah.
But
that's good. Like the second-hand market benefits all of us.
You leech. It's me being a hypocrite. You leech. I'll be on Facebook Marketplace like the day after, waiting for Debbie over in Bootle, figuring out that she can't play this without a PS5. I'll buy it for £95, Debbie. Here's an eBay listing I created where you can get it for £95. £95 and a child's bike. Okay, so we don't know when it's available. We don't know pre-order. The indications are it's relatively quickly, and that would make sense based on it's probably ready to go now. They're just looking at shipping, etc. Can it play anything other than games? Is the final thing we've got. No local play, not even media playback. Dedicated mirroring mode within the menu system for viewing media on your PS5. So
it's pushing it down that, like, if the TV is not available angle, isn't it?
Yeah.
Pushing that even further.
Yeah. I can't imagine.
Like streaming Netflix to your PlayStation to watch on a stream from your PlayStation to a handheld.
Holding a fucking DualSense with an 8-inch screen in the bath, wearing those headphones, watching Lord of the Rings. Like, is there a fucking worse example of what not to do in tech in 2023?
This is the thing, though. Like, this is what pushes it to, of all the like handheld gaming things there's been in the last couple of years with all the push towards streaming stuff, this is what to me puts this at the bottom of that pile, because like that Logitech one that came out last year where everyone's like, it's 300 quid and it's fucking pointless because all you could do is cloud stream it. Came out and they were like, at least you can use it to, it's powerful enough to emulate like N64 and maybe early Dreamcast stuff and anything before that. So at least it's got a second use. This thing's fucking pointless for anything but if you can't access your TV.
I do suspect
the only thing it's got going for it is it's cheaper than buying a second fucking TV. Buy one
of these instead and play some of the games that are on it. I'm holding the Vita up for audio listeners. It's still a gorgeous console. It's got a gorgeous OLED screen. It's got some batshit crazy functionality in terms of the touchpad on the back, and you can play some absolute banging first-party games on there as well, and then some classic indie titles. It's got Persona 4 Golden on it, which is a no-brainer if you're into JRPGs, and it's worth it. Sony got it right with that console. There just wasn't a market for it 7-8 years ago. Now that the technology is probably there to bring some of these games on a PS5 to something like this, just do that. Look at what the Steam Deck's doing. Like, you're probably so close to greatness, Sony, if you were to revive something like the Vita. And if the next version of Portal is something like that, where you can store the game on the console, and even if I can get one game at a time and it's got no expandable storage, I'll live with that. Just do something, that's going to be a little bit more attractive, I think, to people that actually want to play those PS5 games on the go. Okay, so Alex, you're going to buy one? No. Any particular reason? What's the nail in the coffin for it for you? Did you buy everything?
And
this is perfect
I
for you.
genuinely
Handheld
don't know.
And a controller.
I think See, the thing that really put me off when I read the bit about, well, the audio puts me off because I'd need to buy another headset. Like, it would piss me off that I had to plug some sort of headphone into it. And when it said aiming for the battery life of DualSense, and the worst thing about DualSense is its battery life. So, like, you're like, ugh. And the fact it's only in white.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
I don't
that
know.
puts me off. No,
It's like speaking to an architect and them going, "All right, so how big do you want your basement?" Well, Joseph Fritzl, he had, and going like, "No, hold on, like that's not the example you want to fucking give here." Sorry to any of the victims of Joseph Fritzl that are listening to this. Just obviously, they're all massive CrossCast fans.
Mm-hmm.
Lewis, are you gonna buy one of these?
No, I have not used the remote function on the backbone with my phone. I don't think I need to spend £200 on a machine to help me do it. But damn, is that thing sexy.
I think it's really good looking. You and I agreed on that point. I really
so
do
did
like
the majority of the people who filled in that quiz.
Yeah.
Did they?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like,
go away and check it. Go away and check, Alex.
I'm going to check because I want to know who's
created
got bad
another
taste.
6 people in WhatsApp to do it. I think all of the Sony stuff this generation looks cool, and the only bad thing is when you actually wear the headphones, like they're just massive. There's just no need for it at all. But I do like the white aesthetic. I do like the kind of the fact that they've been quite open to changing the fascias on the PS5, and yeah, I really like the look of this. I like the fact that it feels like something from Tears of the Kingdom, where you have just ripped apart DualSense and then attached it to something else and then scrapped it. So yeah, I don't know. Tyler, trick question.
There's no point in asking me, is there?
No, yeah, but I just thought I would. I mean, hypothetically, would you get this?
I'd be...
If it was the same, but it was for an Xbox.
No.
Okay.
Because the Steam Deck exists. And it completely invalidates any need for this, whether it's for Sony or Microsoft. Because it can do exactly what this thing is going to do, probably just as well, but it can also do a million other really cool, useful things.
Yeah.
It's not adaptive triggers.
Yeah. But are you really going to notice the adaptive triggers at that point?
Ben's selling point was funny, where his first thought was like, but I can use my phone at the same time.
Yeah.
And he was like, which I completely get. That is really annoying whenever I've used, I think I've got the Rishi, have I? I've got the Sunak.
Kishidan. That was a very Tory slip, that was. Calling it the Rishi.
Yeah, the fact it's in a drawer and I don't use it, it's probably quite appropriate to our Prime Minister at the moment. But yeah, I mean, I'm not going to get one. I will wait for it to go down in price, then consider it, and I will want to see reviews. I didn't get enough of a review or preview from the Kind of Funny thing. I ended up watching that before. It felt as if they were saying it's not perfect, but we really like it for what we're doing at home. And there's not really been enough of a deep dive, honest feedback on the latency of it either.
It's all been in a very
controlled way,
controlled environment.
You don't want to fuck Sony off, really, do you? If you're an influencer and you're getting invited to a Sony event, you're not going to fuck them off and bite the hand that feeds you. One thing I would kind of ask is, so with latency, that is just audio, isn't it? Latency.
No.
So that can refer to the actual video stream throughput as well.
Yeah, latency is the time it takes for a packet to get from point A to point B.
So it's just
whether
it's
that's audio,
not defined.
video, anything.
So I'm happy then to say latency is the thing that I've got the most concern of, and until I see how that performs on a good internet, I don't know, ISP at home, in a decent kind of Wi-Fi router, whatnot, then I'd probably comment on it and say, okay, well, I'm now tempted to get it, but I will wait for it to go below the more common price point of 130 quid or whatever it might be. Or alternatively, wait for it to come to game, because I think there'll be a similar period where you can only buy it on the PlayStation store. And then maybe like 2-3 months later down the line, near Christmas, it'll come out in game for 199 quid, and I'll be able to use all my points towards it. I don't know. Yeah, it's a bit of a damp squib for me. A bit disappointed by it. I think when we originally found out it was going to be a streaming device only. I think we all kind of felt the same anyway, but I think the latest kind of news and just like some of the comments, like we said there about the battery power, it's certainly pissed on the chips for me.
I think it almost felt like when even in the back of our minds when they came out and said it was a remote play device, I think everyone thought it'll be a remote play device until streaming works for PlayStation, and then it'll be able to stream. And I feel like it's, and I'm not saying it's going to be impossible that down the line they do update it to be able to stream, but it doesn't feel like it. It doesn't feel
it's
like it's got the innards to do it.
No, it's not where they're going with it. Ultimately, it's probably nothing more than a firmware update away, but to keep it at that price point, it hasn't got the guts to do that, to serve that purpose.
It's them dipping the toe in the water, and I wouldn't doubt that if this gets decent pre-order volume, that the next version will get greenlit quite quickly, and hopefully, like I've said, that's the spiritual successor then to the Vita, or it's a different take on what they think consumers want from a handheld device, because this ain't it. But still, it's still exciting that we're getting this wave of handhelds, and I, for one, I'm not as married to the television anymore as what I used to be, and I'm buoyant by the fact that we are getting better quality handhelds, and it doesn't feel like it's going to stop anytime soon. And it certainly feels like the market's shifting more to having an appetite towards handheld play, rather than just sat in front of a telly. Right, chaps, that was fun. Enjoyed that.
Yep.
Tyler, it's nice to have you back. Hey,
It's
as per.
nice to be
nice to
back.
see you.
I'm not going to let it go so long next time.
That's fine. It's okay. Thank you to everyone for listening to our inane ramblings this week. If you're a regular listener and fancy getting a bit more involved, we have mentioned it several times for Max's Weeby pillow that he wants to get. Just like Ryan Gosling in The Real Girl, he wants a giant pillow to take with him on holiday, to hold him tight when it's getting cold. The autumn nights come in. To take to dinner. Likes to go to high-end places like Frankie and Benny's. Fan of Nando's. He likes these places. He wants to take his giant Weeby pillow there and kiss it on the mouth. Go to patreon.com/thecrossplayers. You can contribute as little as £2 and you will get entry into our WhatsApp group, which is 100% worth it. You get to talk to all of us, and we've got a wonderful group of patrons in there. Their names are Ethan Hunt, Nate Ellingsworth, Carl Hughes, Sean Hughes, Jason Frost, Sarah Perbrick, Rebecca Rudranath, Luke Cooper, Kevin Scully, Mark Hammond, Runestorm, Phil Marshall, Eamon Macaulay. Phil doesn't have any friends to go to Edinburgh with, Henshaw, and Daniel Muir. Whoever put that in is very nasty. Very, very.
It was me.
It was you. Right. Oh dear. Sorry, he's changed it. Phil likes a good foot. Henshaw.
I was going to say, I've been trying to think of a foot-related nudge to put in there, but I can't come up with anything.
Fill my cavity with a foot, Henshaw.
Oh, it's a very niche. I like it. Alex, tell me about VR, mate. What's happened with that? Because you've recorded some episodes, haven't you?
Well, we have, because the other two fucked off and left me. So, I'm on my own, manning the ship. But so we've got a couple of nice little episodes and a nice special guest on next week's episodes to keep us ticking over whilst Laurie and Ben are off sunning themselves in exotic places.
Sunning yourself is exactly right, based on the photo that Ben sent before. Where he's got a lovely little life.
He's got a nice little cap burn again. Yeah. Nice little cap burn.
He looks like 1990s Ronaldo with the hair, just the
fringe. That's such a good reference. It's very, very funny. So Lewis, do you enjoy it, mate? Have you got any podcasts coming out?
No.
Not special enough.
Well, other than the VR one.
Other than that one as well. Yeah, you're on that one. I forgot about that. You got an invite before I did. Because Laurie tried to invite me and then he went, do you want to come on a Thursday? I was like, that's when we record CrossCast. And he just didn't reply. And that was it. Then I was out of the fucking list. I think because I showed some sort of dissent, he was like, right, that's it. Lewis is getting pipped into it. So there we go.
There's the thing, we don't already record with Lewis for that, but
you let him have it, Alex. Let him have it. You've got to realise that sometimes you just let Dan take the win, even though he's lost. Dan, Laurie came to you, you said no, they came to me. That's how it went.
That's
how
fine.
it went.
It's okay. I'll just kick off about not being included on episode 2. And that feels like some things have gone full circle in our podcast group.
That is a deep cut.
That's a very deep cut. Cuts deep. Tyler, like you said, mate, don't leave it too long. It's the last time. And, obviously you've been jibbed for this VR headset malarkey that we all have. So you can join Lewis and we're going to start a new podcast about, I don't even know, fucking
Xboxes.
Jeff Keighley's bosom or something. I don't know. Some mocky.
I would just say Jeff Keighley done a great job of ignoring those
Oh yeah, the
people.
stage invasion.
Yeah. What a wet like if he proper sparked one of them.
Imagine.
If he
you
just
imagine?
like if he'd
Amazing.
given one of them, it's
That'd be funny.
like just proper gone for one. Just bit one of their ears off. Imagine, and then just carried on the show with blood like trickling down his chin. Like if he'd done that, like my perception of him would have just flipped on its head completely.
Yeah.
Stone cold killer. But instead, no, he just pretended they weren't there.
Glasgow goes, fuck off.
Yeah.
Broke straight back.
If he genuinely had done that, I would have been like some of those like World Star videos where you see someone on like the tube. And there's like this guy just giving a load of shit, and then it's like, fuck off, this knocks him out. If he'd done that in the middle of Gamescom Open Night Live, then yeah, I would have liked him a lot. But Tyler, back to you, mate. Don't make it too long next time.
No,
Missed you.
Definitely not.
Missed you. Right, guys, thank you for that. Good evening, and goodbye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Kept you waiting, huh?
Thank you.